Joining us now from both sides of the aisle, former U.S. Congressman Representative Joe Walsh and Democratic strategist Christy Setzer. Thank you both for being here. I guess I'll start with the storm, because this is the first major test for this administration. Chuck Grassley tweeting something out earlier, I believe, saying, hey, you remember what happened with President Bush and Katrina? Let's not make the same mistakes. Representative Walsh, is this administration ready to handle its very first natural disaster, as it appears to be?
Yeah, hey, Ashley, this is important. Presidents and governors have lost their jobs not responding appropriately to natural disasters and emergencies. I don't want my government doing a lot of things, but I want my government responding to hurricanes. And it seems like President Trump, and he announced that Vice President Pence is going to stay in Washington, D.C. So it looks like they're on top of this, and it's very important.
Let me bring in Christy. Okay, the other areas of the administration have struggled to get on the same page, but this is the kind of event that you would hope the government, from the top to the bottom, are all on the same page in protecting people and lives and property.
You sure would. Yeah, hurricanes are an event where you want a caring, engaged president, and you want a responsive government, even if, as the congressman said, you're not somebody who particularly likes government in general. You're still probably going to want some federal funding to come to help your state deal with the billions of dollars in damages that I'm sure they're expecting in Texas. So I hope that the president is doing more than, for example, just tweeting about it. I hope that FEMA is as engaged as they say that they are. President Trump, though, has stacked his administration with people at cabinet agencies who are hostile to the very idea of their existing. For example, Rick Perry at Energy.
But does that really have an impact, Christy, on how the response is handled to Hurricane Harvey?
No.
I guess what I'm saying is I hope it doesn't. I hope that our federal emergency response administrator, in fact, believes in federal emergency response and believes in, federal money and people on the ground and, all the things that we'd hope they'd be doing right now.
All right, let's move on from the storm. Go back to Congressman Walsh. I want to talk about tax reform. We understand that the president is going to start barnstorming, if he likes a word that's used a lot, next week, going to Missouri to start really getting some backing, some vocal backing from people out there, so certainly the middle class. Everyone likes a tax cut, and yet here we are, mired down, bogged down with so many issues for Congress to face when they get back next month. Congressman, can we get tax reform done, and is the president critical in leading the charge?
We will, Ashley, if Congress gets off their ass and goes to work. I mean, Ashley, my former colleagues, they've taken the whole month of August off. We talk about Trump's stalled agenda. Congress has been on vacation for 5 weeks. I've got no problem with Trump going after Mitch McConnell and Paul Ryan and hitting these Republicans over the head to get them to work. This should be an easy thing for Republicans to do. Cut taxes and reform the code, but they can't do it if they're on vacation.
Christy, let me give you this scenario. If there's tax cuts across the board, even for the top 1%, would Democrats hold it up because of that? And therefore denying tax cuts to the middle class who so desperately need them. Where's the red line for Democrats on this issue?
Yeah, I mean, the red line, I think, is pretty reasonable, which is to say it can't give more tax cuts to the top 1%, and it can't add to the debt of the deficit. And it has to be a bipartisan process. Those are the only red lines for Democrats. And if Republicans can't meet those, which again I think seem like pretty basic concepts that most of the country would agree with, then then no, I don't think that it's going to be able to go forward.
Congressman, to me, it seems like President Trump's in a win-win situation. He's putting pressure now on Congress to get something done. If they do get something done with regard to tax reform, for instance, or even infrastructure, he'll take the credit for pushing it. But if they don't, then he knows who he can blame. I mean, it's a win-win, right?
Yeah, and if they don't, Ashley, we're probably looking at Nancy Pelosi as the speaker in 2018. This is what's at stake. The Republicans need to get something done. They are squandering an amazing opportunity here. And I'll say it again. People may have some issues with Trump, but he's the oldest president we've elected. He's working his fanny off.
Yeah.
And these members of Congress just are not keeping up with him.
Go ahead, Christy.
Where's the evidence for that? I have to say that I see President Trump as the anybody's fault but mine president. It's always Mitch McConnell's fault or Paul Ryan's fault or the Democrats or the media, or, you know, he has a very long list of people who are to blame except for himself. And I have to think that even his most ardent supporters at some point will recognize the pattern of that anytime something doesn't get done, it's, oh, everybody's fault but Donald Trump's.
Respond to that, Congressman, because, you know, in many cases, the president, I think, is right. These people are letting him down, but what responsibility should he hold on to?
Ashley, they are. Look, Trump's a disruptor. He came to Washington to break things and disrupt the way Washington does business. And you know what? To Christy's point, neither Republicans or Democrats want that. They don't want disruption. They want things the way they've always been.
Well, I think we'll have to leave it. Go ahead, Christy. I'll let you get the last word in quickly.
I don't know if sitting in front of his television and tweeting all day is really disrupting anything. I think he's been managing to stay out of the way, maybe do a couple photo ops, and not get terribly involved in legislative process.
He's talking directly to his base when he tweets. But anyway, that's a story for another day. Thank you so much, Congressman Joe Walsh and Christy Setzer. Great stuff. Appreciate it.